Yes. My jumper was too thick, so I'm using oh shit. My jumper was too thick, so I'm using a skull. This is from the game of Skulls. Good game, if you've never played it before. Probably use a Sudoku book. But yeah, the jumper's too thick, so I couldn't put the mic. But I'm back using this one. And I got a little muffler thing, so there shouldn't be as many pops or things. Okay. My head's a bit muddled, but that's okay. Today we're going to talk about A Night Like This by Julia Quinn. So, Julia Quinn's obviously the author of Bridgerton, and so I've read all the Bridgerton books when I was in high school. So growing up, I think at one point, one or all of them were free on free or like $1 on iBooks. And so yeah, that was how I read them. And this is a different series. So this is the Smythe-Smith. It's probably Smith, but Smythe-Smith, so SMYTHE -N Smith. And they're like, think Bridgerton, but it's the Smythe-Smith family. And so A Night Like This is the second one in that series, and we're following Anne and Daniel. So Anne is a governess for Daniel's aunt, cousin, just family member. The relationship dynamic is very like different to the Bridgerton ones. Like they're a bit older, and some are like separated than with like someone else, and like this is like the older generation, then the younger generation have kind of done the similar thing. So I think it's probably like his aunt's cousin or something. Like it's like a little bit removed, but they're all still like very close. And yeah, it's like still a Julia Quinn book. So like take it as you will. But yeah, so this book follows Anne and Daniel, and kind of like in most of Julia Quinn's books, there's like the instant attraction, and so yeah, they like meet by what was that? Yeah, so Anne is like filling in for one of his cousins who's playing in a like they do like family recital every year, which is like a big running joke because none of them are quite musically inclined. And so she's filling in for one of the older girls who has managed to weasel her way out of playing in this recital, and the embarrassment that would cause her. I think she's about like 13 years old, so like it makes sense. Like it's that kind of age group where you don't want to be playing in your family recital anymore. Yeah, so Anne steps in, and then Daniel sees her, and it's like, oh my god, instant attraction. So they like kiss afterwards. He like drags her away, and yeah, so that's kind of like the way they start. Oh my god. Ugh. The heck? Well, okay. Got interrupted, so we'll start again. No. So, what was it? So, in this book, there's like a little bit of a mystery subplot from, well, it's just like general, but you don't know which side is it from, which angle is it from. Is it from Anne's side or Daniel's side? so basically they both have secrets. So Daniel was exiled from England for 5 years, I'm going to say, and he's been living in Italy. And so he was exiled after a duel gone wrong, basically. It was like a really dumb duel. Like, yeah, really dumb. And like, uncharacteristically, apparently. And then like the guy who's seriously injured, his dad was like, if you're ever in England, like, I'm gonna shoot you on sight, basically. So he had to run. Because he essentially destroyed someone's leg by accident. But yeah, so he's been away, and like, he's finally coming back to England because the guy whose leg he injured was like, no, like, that, like, it was dumb anyway, like, we were both drunk, so you shouldn't have had to be exiled. You can come back, and if my dad says anything, like, I'll talk to him and whatnot. And so the whole time, from his perspective, he thinks like, oh, like, it's just like the dad, like, not keeping his word because blah, blah, blah. And also because he's a bit of a dick. Whereas Anne, she's got her secrets as well. She was also exiled or excommunicated, basically, from her hometown. Let's try look at her. Do I have a full name? So she was excommunicated from her hometown after scarring a guy who tried to sexually assault her. Basically, she was thinking she was going to marry this guy. Instead, he just wanted to have his way with her and then marry someone else. But yeah, it was like a self-defense wound, but the guy he injured was the like, big family in the region, and she was poor, so then she had to be sent away to protect her family name. And she doesn't talk to anyone in her family, but she does send letters to her sister. And so yeah, that's how she, like, communicates with her family, and she's still quite close to her sister, but she's, like, is a bit jumpy, and she's a bit scared, and she's only in London because her old job was, like, caring for this older woman, and the older woman passed. So yeah, basically, that's where we're at. Obviously, that gets revealed during the book. Like, Daniel's is kind of, you get told at the start what's happened and why he's back and blah blah blah, and they're all happy and excited. And then Anne's is more of like the actual mystery because yeah, things happen and someone tries to kill her, basically. I should probably have this facing me anyway. But yeah, so she, what was it? The romance, I think, was really cute. Even Julia Quinn loves instant attraction. Like, if you think about the Bridgerton books, like, especially like Kate and Anthony, not Colin and Penelope, obviously, but even like the Duke and, I was going to say Phoebe, the Duke and Daphne, like, a lot of her books have instant attraction and instant chemistry, so that was expected. But then I liked the way that their romance started building away from just being physically attracted to each other. I think that was well done. I think the mystery was just like a little too heavy, maybe. Like, I just didn't quite expect the stakes to be that high, and I don't know if they needed to be. Like, Anne kind of nearly dies. Like, I think even, well, there's multiple instances where they nearly die. Like, they get ran off. They have this cart accident, so they get ran off the cart, and like nearly get injured there. Like, they're quite lucky that they didn't. And then there's like another instance, and then Anne runs away, and then the guy nearly like fully tries to kill her. So it was just like a bit much for like a fun, chill book. Even though I think like the guy actually being evil did also make sense. I don't know, it just didn't need to be as intense, I think. I think it could have been a little less intense. I don't think they needed to nearly die 3 times. Yeah. I will say, okay, I have a note here. I will say I did enjoy that throughout the book, Anne was still like kind of self-reliant. And I think it like they both had very strong personalities, but it was kind of almost nice to see. Sometimes when you read historical romances, it is a bit like damsel in distress, and so I think it was like nice to see one written where you're like, okay, Anne can somewhat fend for herself, and like she knew what to do, like how to hide and where to go, and like she had disappeared. But yeah, I think that was kind of fun. I do still think it was a little heavy for a fun book to read. But yeah, obviously everyone gets a happily ever after, because there's even like a bit of conflict with Daniel's younger sister and his best friend, who have like a hidden relationship that they were hiding from him, which I think he probably should have realised. But yeah, I kind of enjoyed how you could see their relationship develop throughout the book, and by the end of it you're kind of like, okay, you've got like a somewhat solid foundation. I can't remember how long the timeline of the book was. It wasn't very long. Probably 2 weeks. So by somewhat solid, I mean they knew each other. But it could have been longer. Julia Quinn tends to have like little time skips. So I wouldn't be too surprised. I didn't make a note of it. But yeah, I think I saw this comment about how like someone didn't quite enjoy the immediate attraction and like them almost immediately being in a relationship, which I kind of understand. And what I wrote was that it kind of did feel like at the start of the book, their characterization was a bit off. Like it feels like the characters evolved throughout the book to be different people to what they were at the start, as in like completely different, especially Daniel. Because it is dual point of view, so you do see from both of their viewpoints. And so it did kind of feel like at the start, like Daniel was going to be like more of like a playboy and whatnot, especially with like the kissing like immediately and stuff like that. Whereas at the end, it really didn't feel like and Daniel would have done that. So yeah, I think it was more. It feels like the start should be rewritten slightly, but then also it's an old book. But yeah, so I overall enjoyed the book. The mystery plot was good. I think the stakes were probably a little too high for what you would like a chill book, especially like a book under 400 pages to be. And I feel like even because there was almost like the 2 storylines, feels like the romance was put on the back burner, but also fast-tracked a little bit so that you could have both the mystery and the romance in one book, rather than kind of letting the mystery be a little lower stakes so then the romance could take longer to bloom. Because they were almost immediately in a relationship. Like they were, yeah, kind of both thinking of that. But I still liked it. I think it's just a fun, chill read that you don't really have to think too much about it. And this is probably too many thoughts about it, to be honest. But yeah, that was... I keep going to say On a Night Like This. A Night Like This by Julia Quinn.